Self-talk is the key to becoming a better communicator. A lot of people want to change their communication outwardly. They say, hey, I need to fix my body language. Hey, I want to fix how I articulate words. How can I have a better vocabulary? How can I be able to speak faster and then slower and then how loud I speak, how quiet I speak to change how other people perceive what I'm saying? And all that stuff is useful, but it's not the most important thing. See, your outward communication is simply a product of how well you communicate to yourself. If I don't have good internal communication, my outward communication will always have a limit to it. So, how can we have better communication inwardly? How can we have better self talk? Well, I love what Myron Golden said. He said, you can think without speaking, but you can't speak without words. Self-talk is simply using words to speak to yourself, right? So I imagine it like this. When I'm talking to this camera, when I'm talking to other people, I'm expressing words with sound. But self-talk is doing the same thing, but there's no sound. That's how you talk to yourself. So how can we improve our self-talk? And by improving it, have better outward communication. There's 5 ways that I'm going to share with you in this video to do that. The first way is use your self-talk to build more confidence. One of the things people lack in communication is confidence. I know this was the case with me. I love talking to other people. I'm a pretty outgoing person. If I know you well, I'm especially outgoing, very charismatic. But one people group I used to struggle with was talking with girls. I was bad at talking to them, bro. I'll tell you, it was bad. It was bad. I avoided them at all costs. Why? Because I lacked confidence. And why did I lack confidence? It was my self-talk. My self-talk was creating self-imposed limitations. A limitation is a mental wall I choose not to climb. See, imagine I have this wall right here, right? Let's say talking girls on the other side, I'm on this side, right? I want to get to that wall and I can get to it. I have the ability to get over that wall, but I'm choosing not to climb it. That's because of a lack of confidence. But what confidence does, it says, hey, I know this wall may be big, it may be tall and vast, but I can climb over this wall. I have the ability to. I'm just going to put it into practice. That's what confidence does. And we get that confidence through our self-talk. How? How do we do this? Well, confidence means confide. It means to trust, right? The more you trust yourself, the more confidence you have in yourself. So a good question to ask is, why don't we trust ourselves? Like, why did I not trust myself to be able to talk to those type of people, to girls? Why did I not trust myself to be able to make a basketball shot? Why don't we trust ourselves more? And the answer is because of our self-talk. We have lied to ourselves so many times in the past that now we've trained our mind to not believe what we have to say and thus not trust ourselves. What do I mean by that? Well, many times we tell ourselves like New Year's is about to come up, so we make all these New Year's resolutions. And I have nothing against those, like New Year's resolutions, goals, aims, ambitions. These things are all good because they give us an aim to go for. And our brain, it loves aims, it loves goals. It loves saying, hey, get this target by this time because it has something to go for, something to say, directing its attentions and thoughts towards, right? So goals and resolutions, they're good. However, when we break them, we're telling ourselves we can't trust ourselves. If I say, hey, I'm going to hit the gym 6 days a week next year and I don't do it, well, my word is no longer my bond. It's no longer trustworthy because I've broken it. And that lack of trust, because of my self-talk and me lying to myself, that lack of trust, it produces less confidence within me. I say, hey, what I'm telling myself is not true. So why do I trust myself anymore? We can improve our self-talk our confidence by simply keeping our word to ourselves. The better we keep the word that we say, the more confidence that we have because we have more evidence to point to know that we're trustworthy. See, trust, the way I define trust is the certainty that comes from believing evidence. When I have evidence and I choose to believe it, I trust that evidence. For example, me playing basketball, I love playing basketball, and if I hit 10 shots in a row, well, let's say someone else, they hit 10 shots in a row. Right, that's a lot of evidence to point to say, hey, this guy is good at shooting the basketball. So I can look at all that evidence and choose to believe it, and then I can trust them on the basketball court to score more points because of the evidence that he's showing. However, if the same exact player missed 10 shots in a row instead of making them, well, I don't have any evidence to point to know that he's reliable. And what that does is that hurts the trust, the confidence I can have in him because I have less evidence to believe. So how could this help us in communicating with other people? Well, the same principle still applies. When people have evidence to point to know that we're reliable, to know that we keep our word, that's how they can trust us more. And when they trust us more, they have more confidence in us. And when they have more confidence in us, guess what? We have the opportunity to influence them in a more impactful way. It's saying, hey, I'm going to keep my word even if it means I'm going to die. But so many people don't have that same mindset. They don't have that mindset of saying, what I say, the word that comes out of my mouth, it won't return to me void. It won't say, hey, this is just a word, I don't care what's going to say. But the Bible tells us that we're going to account for every idle word we speak. How important are our words? I love what God says. He says that I'm not a man that I should lie, nor a son of man that I should relent. That's what I call your word being your bond. God's word is his bond. He will not lie. And if we have that same mindset, other people can trust us more. Like I can trust God because, well, for many reasons, but I know that he will not lie. The Bible tells us if we are faithless, he remains faithful. He cannot deny himself. Like even if I turn away from God, if I forsake him, if I turn my back on him, if I go away from him, he still keeps his word. He still keeps his covenant. He says in Ezekiel 36, hey, even though you guys have rebelled against me and you guys simply just hate me, you guys are stubborn, for my own namesake, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. It's amazing. His word is his bond. And when we have the same way, we will become more trustworthy and our communication will become more influential. But that starts with our self-talk. We can't keep lying to ourselves. We can't keep saying, hey, I'm going to do this and then not follow through. See, one of the best virtues to have is honesty. If you know me, you know I'm an honest person. Like some people say I'm honest to a fault. They're like, man, you're too honest, Austin. Just stop talking or just don't be so honest, right? But my word is my bond. And I try to tell the truth and it just makes me more honest. But like I said, every virtue is also a vice, right? So I can become too honest at times. Nonetheless, self-talk, I'm pretty sure you guys get the point. Be trustworthy. Now, the second way we can use our self-talk is through visualization. Now, you may say visualization, that's not you talking to yourself, but actually it is. See, look at these pictures back here, right? That is someone talking, but they're not talking through language. They're talking through art and through expressing themselves through their art, right? Communication is not just through sound. Like my brother, he's nonverbal. He doesn't speak with his words. However, he's a great communicator because he's able to use his body language. He's able to use his mind. He's able to use his hands and different things to express himself. That's what communication is expressing yourself. And we can do that through visualization. Visualization is just having mental pictures in our mind. We have mental pictures in our mind and imagining things that helps us to become a better communicator. You may be asking, okay, why is that the case? And here's why. When I visualize something that's going to happen, I build anticipation for that thing happening. For example, I released a book. It's called Controlling the Controllables, How Anyone Can Become Influential. And in that book, I lay out the principles to become influential, that if you follow, you will become influential because principles always work, they never lie. You can check that out in the description. I say that because I had anticipation for that book. I imagine what's going to be like when it comes out. Saying, man, I might be able to impact these people's lives. Hey, man, I'm going to be a published author. Hey, man, I might have the opportunity to make some money off this. All these things I was telling myself through my self-talk, but I was using mental pictures. I was like, man, what's going to be like to have that book out, man? Oh, man. And I was thinking about the outcome that I wanted. And what that did was it produced anticipation for me to have that outcome to come to pass. What anticipation is, it's the energy we get from having a good expectation. See, when I expect something favorable in the future, I have energy towards that outcome. That's anticipation. And whatever we have energy towards, we're going to desire. For example, if there's a girl I like, I have energy towards talking to her, right? And that's going to make me desire to do that more. I love basketball. If I see a great game going on and it's the championship, let's say it's game 7, well, I'm gonna have a lot of energy towards watching that game. That's gonna make me desire to watch it more. And we use our self-talk to make through visualization to have anticipation, to have more energy towards the things that we want to do. So, how does this make us a better communicator? Well, we use the same principle with other people. Like it's all principles. Like principles, like I said, principles always work. I love principles. Like to get on a little tangent, principles. I love the principle of entropy. Entropy means things tend to disorder. I like to say it like this: all progress requires intention, but regression only requires neglect. And that if I want to get better at something, it takes intentional effort, deliberate effort into getting better in that area of life. But if I want to get worse, all I have to do is neglect that area. And naturally, entropy is going to come in and take over and make me worse. That's a principle. That's something that's always going to come to pass. In the same way, this principle of anticipation producing energy and energy producing desire. So we use it with other people by helping them have anticipation for the outcomes they want to achieve. See, if someone is, let's say, on my basketball team, I like basketball. I'm gonna use it one more time example. Hopefully, this might be the last time I use it. So basketball, right? I'm my teammate, and my teammate is not working hard. He's not running on the sprints. He's not communicating well. So I can help them through anticipation. I say, hey man, if you do this, you're gonna get some playing time. If you do this, we're gonna win the game. If you do this, you're gonna start. What's that doing is I'm helping him to visualize a good outcome. And by visualizing that outcome, he's now going to want to have energy towards that outcome. And through having energy, he has more desire to reach the outcome that I'm anticipating for him to have. That's how we use our self-talk. And by using that self-talk, we can apply that same principle in our outward communication. So what's the third way we can use our self-talk to improve as a communicator? The third way is through dread. Now, anticipation, like I said, is the energy I get from having a good expectation. On the contrary, dread is the energy I get from having a bad expectation. So you may be asking, okay, why is this good? Why is it good to have bad expectations? Well, it's good if you use the frame in the right way. Let's say there's something that I don't want to do. Let's say like I'm on a diet and I don't want to eat cake. I don't want to have cookies. I don't have this Diet Coke. Well, how can I have more self-control to not do that? We do it through having expectations that are bad towards it. If I say, man, I'm gonna eat this cake, I'm gonna get so fat, or I'm gonna break my diet, or I'm gonna ruin my life, I'm exaggerating myself. What that's doing anyway is gonna produce energy against it. See, whatever I have energy towards, we're going to desire. So if I have energy against eating the cake, I'm going to desire not to eat it more. By producing dread, I'm not going to want the outcome that I said for myself not to want. If I say, hey, I hate watching baseball, well, that bad expectation is producing dread, so I'm going to have energy against watching it. That's how we use our self-talk to then have more just self-control, have more action towards the outcomes we want to see. So how can we use this in our outward communication? The way we do this is in the same way as anticipation. We tell people of the bad outcomes they get if they don't put in effort, if they don't work hard. That's what I call a fear-based motivation. Think about a gazelle and a lion. The gazelle is motivated by fear. The lion's chasing the gazelle, and the gazelle doesn't want to get eaten, so it runs away from the lion. Right, that's being motivated by fear. That's what dread does. Dread is saying, hey, I don't want to be eaten by this lion, so I'm going to run away from it. Right, that's how we use our self-talk to produce dread. And then dread can be used in our communication. The fourth way we can use our communication, our self-talk to become a better communicator is through humor. Humor is a great way. Oh, this is actually the fifth way, my bad. Humor is amazing. So when you're embarrassed, embarrassment is simply rehearsing an incident in your mind over and over again and becoming self-conscious and distressed because of that incident. For example, if I'm walking and I didn't tie my shoes and I trip on my shoelace, well, if I think about other people who maybe think about me, I say, man, I wonder if they saw me fall. I wonder if this guy saw me fall. Well, all that self-consciousness is going to produce distress within me, and that's going to make me embarrassed. But any embarrassment with time can become humorous. So if I just have a different frame on my embarrassment, instead of saying, man, I'm so embarrassed, think, man, this is gonna be funny. It's funny that I fell on my shoelace. Well, that frame is gonna give me a different perspective behind my embarrassment and help me to face it in a better way. By having more humor, that reframe is gonna help me get a positive outcome instead of a negative outcome out of what I have experienced. In the same way, we can use that same principle of being humorous to influence other people. See, people love being around people who are funny. I imagine myself to be a funny person. Not in this video, not as well as I could. I'll hopefully change that feature. But I'm a pretty funny person. And that helps me to have more influence on other people because they see my energy, they feed off my energy. Just like attitudes are contagious. Being around a positive person makes you more positive than being around a negative person. So having a lot of energy helps other people to also have energy. So by having more humor, we can be able to influence others in a positive way. So those are 5 ways to use your self-talk to become a better communicator.